I'm introducing Dr. Shashank, our chairperson. So, Dr. Shashank actually is a scientist, entrepreneur, and founding CEO of Cure Science. He led the organization in the form of global partnership and innovative projects, including the Apomix initiatives on wearable app. He is a strong advocate of patient empowerment. He established patient-centric resources at Cure Science and focus on personalized and precision medicine, especially in longevity and quality of life. Dr. Ashili in visualizing and improving science and healthcare access in Asia, primarily in India. His research contributions are reflected in numerous publications in esteemed scientific journals. So I hand over the session to Dr. Shashank.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Raghunath. Thank you for your kind introduction. Before we go, I quickly have one thing. If any technical glitches, technical problems, please join back in. If there is any technical glitches. With that, let's start our session. We have esteemed speakers today, and our first speaker is Professor Shivaraju. Professor Shivaraju is professor at Center for Excellence in CSR and an expert in corporate social responsibility, population development, and aging. He has contributed to research on resettlement, health, and development of elderly population in India and is a key figure in CSR and rehabilitation studies. Sir, please take over and please go ahead with your presentation.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. At the outset, I sincerely thank Dr. Dhananjay and Dr. Shashanka for inviting me to for today's session, and whatever my inputs that I can provide in this symposium on aging Asia is a very, I think it is pertinent for us to discuss in Asian context how similarities and dissimilarities when we are talking about aging. This is a very important, I think, a theme that aptly suits for all of us to come together. And I think, Professor Dhananjay, I really thank you for consistently writing to me and also updating me for this event. And Shashank, I heard about you, but today I am happy that I am able to join with you and share some of my, inputs. Now, this technological innovations for aging is the sub-theme that for today's session.
Yes, sir, we can see it.
And my topic for today's presentation, I have chosen promoting positive aging in India. Some observations based on my own studies and some from the literature that I noticed. Now, what is this topic? How relevant it is when we are talking about the aging issues, especially on the theme which we have focused on living longer, and it's very important that promoting positive aging is an important aspect. Why? I'll explain. One of the important things which we have done last, say 20 to 30 years of the literature that has come out in the field of aging, especially in Indian context. I was having an opportunity to go through thoroughly, regularly of the literature that is available. To my, surprise, of course, it's not a major surprise, but we all know that among all the studies and also the literature that is available, when I have analyzed, I found that 90 to 90% of the literature was focusing on aging issues from a negative way. In the sense, the problematic issues. What are the problems of elderly? What are the sufferings? What are the issues that they are confronting? So mostly from the negative side, the literature that we have. So very, very little emphasis as on now on positive aspects of aging. So the issue, we agree that negative dominates because given the very poor quality of life and very low standard of living and high marginalization of this section of our population, it is a fact that the problems persist. But at the same time, even when we are talking about the quality of life or their well-being, the positiveness of aging greatly helps So those who have a positive thinking, those who are seeing from, actively working or actively engaging themselves in the day-to-day, work schedules, they are the people who are living longer. And they are the people who are a little bit, relatively satisfied with their life. So the question arises, how are these dimensions of positive aging that we can promote for the elderly issues? The point that I want to advocate is that when we are talking about development, in all the aspects, life expectancy is a very, very positiveness. When we say that earlier days, hardly in Indian context, for example, an average Indian was surviving around 30 years. Now we are very proud that our life expectancy is now touching 70. That itself indicates that we have to celebrate this achievement. Now, are we, celebrating? Even when we are talking about Human Development Index, they were, first and foremost is a long and healthy life. But when we are very proud of achievements in other two dimensions, like, for example, knowledge, when we say educational attainment has improved or our economic growth has tremendously increased, now, how are we focusing on a long and healthy life? This is an important aspect. So, from human development point of view, also, the positive aging occupies a major important aspect. So, there are several, definitions. I just focus on the National Positive Aging Strategy document that Ireland has brought out, that an individual, community, public, and private sector approach to aging that aims to maintain and improve the physical, emotional, and mental well-being of older people has been defined as a positive aging. So WHO has viewed that the process of developing and maintaining the functional ability that enables well-being in older age, they feel that the organization feels that we have to promote. So positive aging goes beyond the health and community service sectors, as the well-being of older people is affected by many different sectors, like, for example, socioeconomic status, family and broader social interactions, their employment, housing, transport. These are all closely correlated with the positive aging. Besides that, social attitudes and perceptions of aging, they also strongly influence the well-being of older people, whether it is through direct discrimination or through negative attitudes. So the question is that how are we considering in the literature and also to promote as a part of advocacy strategy? So aging, we have to know, we know very well, it's not just an economic and demographic issue, but a socio-cultural and technological opportunity. In fact, I am very happy that positive aging organizers have kept it under technological innovations for aging, because this is the effect of technological opportunities that we create, how best the well-being of elderly and their positiveness to promote in the community is a very important opportunity for us. And furthermore, we all know that the elderly is a major segment for having a market for a range of goods and services. In fact, as the purchasing capacity of the elderly over a period of time is increasing, the huge market is coming in a big way. So the positiveness of aging will see that such opportunities are more and more created and utilized by the elderly people. If elderly are to be fully integrated into our social life, their attitudes towards new technologies and their ability to get to grips with exploiting them must carefully examined and also understood. What are the issues when we are talking about positive aging? One of the obstacles to positive aging is the negative attitude and beliefs about aging process. So there is a mindset that the moment you are coming 60 plus, or you are a retiree, or you are, now became a grandfather or grandmother. Now the question is, you are not supposed to, think about your active life situation. So this is one of the important thing is how the negative attitudes are, influencing their life situation. Similarly, the belief about aging process itself needs to be questioned. So positive thinking about getting older can increase a person's will to live. So why we are highlighting positive thinking is that a person's will to live make them more resilient to illness, and take a more active approach to their health. So even from the health dimension, it is very important that the positiveness, even the doctors also tell that, you comfortably relax. Your health problem is not that due to, aging alone. It is also because of your, mental stress and strain, which also contribute. So most of the half of the health problems can be cured if an individual has a positiveness in the person's viewing. Similarly, those who practice how to age positively, they are also likely to experience less stress, which reduces chance of developing chronic diseases or even disorders that is coming up in a big way. So the question is, to promote positive aging, it's important to plan for your health, aged care, and connection to community. These are three dimensions. So you have to think about how you can, positively think so that your health, it will be, free from diseases. Aged care, you have to plan what are the way you are to, carry out your day-to-day things the moment you attain 60 plus or retired, like that. Similarly, the connection to community is very, very important, because you are not only restricted from the, your own household, but you are interacting with the community. The more your interaction takes place with the community, the higher the levels of, having a active aging. Similarly, those who find life, some of the, Ramurthy and Jamuna, who are pioneering conducting several studies on aging, especially from psychological dimension, they have clearly brought out that the important aspects or the factors that are opened up in the layer of understanding the, satisfaction of the elderly person after attaining that particular age, they are mainly positive self-perception of health, positive acceptance of age that changes, positive perception of functional ability, interfamilial and intergenerational amity, flexibility, those who engage in moderate activity, those who have marital satisfaction, those who have positive perception of social supports. These are all the components which constitutes a person's satisfaction at that particular age, that my life is, I am fully satisfied with my age. So that positiveness will automatically promote for a longer life expectancy, and it boosts up further for living longer. So what are the strategies in promoting positive aging? We need to strengthen our family ties, interaction with friends, neighbors, service providers, and elderly themselves. This is very, very important. What are the, it has been proven that those who have good network with this, there's other stakeholders, they are the people who are having a positiveness in their living conditions. Outreach to vulnerable elderly. So we agree that there is a lot of, heterogeneity that exists among the elderly. It is not easy to have a positive thinking alone, but there are certain vulnerable sections, especially those who are isolated, living alone, or not able to interact with the other members, or having a strains in family life situation. These people, we have to reach out to them. So that is where the community-based organizations or the local organizations have to play a major role in reaching out to those elderly. Then we have to create more and more opportunities for age-integrated and age-targeted social participation. This is very, very important. And in this context, I will, highlight that we need more and more day centers where we can't expect full institutionalization for elderly. And it is even economically, it is not possible. Having a residential homes or old age homes, and especially on payment basis, it becomes difficult. But we can create a daycare centers or day centers, which will be very, cost effective. At the same time, the elderly also, part of their family, they will move out of the family, and again by evening or so, they can go back. So this partial, interaction coming out of their household, interacting within the community, greatly helps. Such opportunities we need. So our major presence of day centers itself, indicates that we are not able to move out in that direction where elderly can come out of these things. One of the important, thing which we also noticed in our surveys and studies are that those elderly who are not coming out of their household and interacting with other elderly members always feel that their problems are unique for them, and they are the people at that age, they are alone suffering and no other elderly are suffering. The moment they come out and interact with other elderly person, they get relief because the problem they share, that there are also other people who are also experiencing, though not at same level, maybe different levels. So they get comfort that others are also having problems. So it is not that I am alone. So even the negative thinking will be taken out the moment we promote social participation, so that it doesn't require any cost. What all we are facilitating is to saying that this is a common platform where elderly can come out and interact with their peer group and share with their own issues and these things. So that is what establishment of older adult day centers are promote strongly. Mobile medical units. We know very well access to health is a very difficult problem, and furthermore for elderly people and disabled. So how are we promoting? So here in this context, mobile medical units, like HelpAge has taken all over India, several mobile medical units in different states, where this is one of the important strategy to address the health access to elderly people. So this is one of the important things which we need to promote. Similar is the question elderly self-help groups, because self-help group formations are very important, so that we can't expect children to come and young generation always to bear their support. What all we need to do is that we have to identify young, old, middle old, and old old. And we know very well around 60% of our population among 68 plus is 60 to 69. They are all able-bodied. They are all alert. What all they want is a platform where they can come out and they can contribute through volunteerism. So this is one of the important thing is, so how to identify such self-help groups, and we need to sustain their activities and promote their issues, so that the elderly themselves can take care of other elderly without expecting young generation. Given the migration of related issues, we can't expect, and also the dwindling of childhood population and youth is a big luxury to have in the midst of elderly people. So what all we need to do is higher the life expectancy. What all we have to see is that how young old can come out and take a voluntary role and see that they will be helping the old or bedridden like that. So this is one of the important issues I want to highlight, so that positive aging can be promoted further by the elderly themselves. So intergenerational bonds by addressing, for example, we know very well ICDS program all over India. Now children are there are some experiments, especially in Tamil Nadu, where ICDS, midday meal scheme is shared by those elderly who are staying alone. So that is giving an opportunity not only to address food security for elderly, but also provides a platform for interaction of children and elderly, so that social participation will greatly help even the elderly to come out and share their own problems. What are the challenges in advocacy? This is it is very easy to promote positive aging, but we have to understand some of the challenges in advocacy and promoting. Now, national policy and older person, no doubt it is a well-conceived policy document, but implementation, because the NPOP also rightly pointed out that the positive aging also is an important aspect that we have to promote. But the question is that implementation remained almost less satisfactorily. So how best we can take it further from the policy to programmatic implementation? Those things are very big challenges which we need to address. Similarly, the level of awareness and empathy for aging concerned by the media, elected leaders, and advocates are problem areas. So most of these people, they are the change agents. Media is, for example, they used to come and contact me that there is some murder took place on for elderly. What are your expertise, opinion? I used to say that media is highlighting now after the murder took place. Now, can you prevent that by highlighting these issues? What are the do's and don'ts for elderly people, so that you can prevent such incidents? So it is not that after suicide or after murder you are highlighting. So we used to say that you have to play an active role, come out, and media has to play important. Similarly, elected leaders, they cannot say, it is not that, very well that the voting pattern also highlights that who are the people voting? The elderly people are in a major chunk. So that vote bank creates a lot of these things. So how best we can create that power among the elderly is an important Similarly, those who advocates from senior citizens groups or even community-based organizations is a very important challenge that we need to promote. There were some good practices around the country, but remain islands of success. So whatever the issues that are there, which are some of the NGOs are working at local level, but the other NGOs or other stakeholders are not aware of such good practices. For instance, when we are addressing social participation, Tata Trust, HelpAge, the Silver Inning, all over India, they are doing some of the works, but there is no platform where the network can take place and come and interact with other members so that they can implement in their geographies. No systematic review process and feedback mechanisms for corrective actions. So whatever experiments that are going on, it's all on their own. No feedback has come. And that is becoming a lesson which others can learn. And lastly, from as an academician, I feel that research and knowledge management given less important. Whatever attempt we are doing with various studies and surveys are focusing on the problems of elderly, but what are the elements which we have to pick up from positive aging and how best that can be implemented? These are some of the important things which we need to take so that our elderly, their positive thinking can be promoted and their negative attitude can be minimized so that their well-being and standard of living can be addressed so that positive aging will give them good quality of life. So thank you so much. I stop here. I hope I have completed in 20 minutes. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And we are going to take the questions towards the end of the session.